This is probably not anyone's expected game, and it's looking a little weird on my end right now, so just give me a quick second while I get all of the details set up. But I'm facing a practical problem here in that Mohawk has been very nice in terms of trying to get me set up with the game. I'm in a tough spot where I know I've been able to play Old World successfully before, and something has changed, but on their end, it doesn't seem like there's anything inside of the game that's causing problems. So there's this horrible point where I am reasonably sure that my computer is not at fault, let's say. Um, but I also like I'm not the kind of entitled streamer or gamer who's going to turn around and say, um, "Okay, thank you, Kieran." I'll just caution you, based on what's kind of been happening on Fridays, I might stop doing those. But I appreciate you stopping by all the same. I know that you're potentially someone who will be inconvenienced by that, but if you have any questions, obviously, when you're around, we can chat. But I figured I'd at least owe you a an explanation in terms of my thinking on that. Um, but I obviously I won't. Um, I'm not so worried about not enough viewers probably suggests that I have like a target. I am bothered though when there's no viewers. It's the Fridays have been the last couple of streams. It's been the first time in years that I've had no people in the chat, which suggests to me that it's not working for folks. But yeah, I just wanted to I wanted to sort of telegraph that because the thing is, I can say that on a Friday, but if nobody's around to hear it, that's not really informing people. So I haven't made any firm decisions yet, but I figured it's good to give people advance warning, and then if there's something else I need to consider, then you know I have the time to do so. Anyways, but yeah, so the story with Mohawk, I've been in touch with them. They've been very nice in terms of receiving the requests, and I've tried to follow up with them as best as I can. I've run some stress tests on my PC, and it doesn't seem like there's any hardware issues. But the fact of the matter remains that I'm running into very consistent crashes in Old World, and I'm they're not able to replicate them. And at that point, it becomes very difficult to. And I mean, it's a Windows PC, right? It's not like I'm running some incredibly baroque, setup or anything like that. So, anyways, it's a shame. And obviously, Old World's really the only one that's running into that. But basically, I only have so much time, and I haven't been able to get the I have not been able to get the game working to a point where it will like stably run for the duration of a stream. So I don't want to. I've heard of Punch Club. I've never played it. Um, but yeah, I don't. In any case, sorry. The I don't want to rule out Old World because I like the game quite a bit, and I kind of like the idea of doing a strategy game on Mondays. Although the fact of the matter is that Wednesday, um, a lot of the games that I've done for Brace Yourself tend to be strategy games. So it's not like the schedule isn't doesn't already have some strategy inside of it. But yeah, I don't want to give up on the title yet. We'll see what happens with the debugging, or maybe not debugging is not the right word, but basically trying to get everything working properly. And in the meantime, I need to kind of figure out what I'm doing. So I had a number of choices. I mean, I could do Outlast Trials again, which I rather enjoyed, but I've been meaning to play the Dead Space remake. I've played a little bit of the opening bits, But again, it's tough to find time. I really don't do a lot of gaming outside of the street. So because today was kind of a free day, I figured it might be kind of fun to do the Dead Space remake, because this is the only game in the series that I have ever played, but I've not done the remake yet, despite paying for the the EA subscription. So anyways, we're going to start a new game. I am debating, I think I have tried it on like impossible, or was it impossible or was it hard? Has same damage settings as hard difficulty, but autosaves are disabled. Yeah. So I probably would have done hard then. I don't know. I don't mind doing it either way. Let's do medium, because I'm a big old scaredy cat. But yeah, I'm gonna try and take it. Easy for tonight, and we will enjoy a pretty neat game.
Isaac, it's me. Oh, I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I just wish I could talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. Strange. Such a little thing.
That's her? Nicole?
Yeah. First I've heard from her in weeks.
We're 5 minutes out. You still got that thing on repeat? Guess you really miss her.
Ishimura is not a job you turn down, but 6 months apart with only vid calls. It's rough. Easy to say the wrong thing.
I don't blame you. I'd listen to my girlfriend over Hammond reciting security protocols.
Forewarned is forearmed, Miss Daniels.
So you keep saying.
Here we go. Nice clean re-entry. Aegis 7.
Imagine 6 months staring at that chunk of rock.
To an independent miner, that's paradise. Aegis 7 is one of the richest finds in CEC history. Some prospecting team set up for life. Now where is she?
There. Confirming visual contact with USG Ishimura.
What a beauty. Biggest Planetcracker in her class, you know. And it looks like they already popped the cork.
Why is it so dark? We should be able to see her running lights.
Yeah. I'll get us into hailing range. Someone's got to be waiting up for us.
Just be careful on the approach. I'm not taking any chances with CEC's pride and joy.
No chances, huh? Is that why you were digging into my personnel files before we left?
You track your file access?
I'm a computer analyst. Comes with the job.
I ran standard CEC background checks, Miss Daniels. If you want to work in the big leagues, you have to play ball.
Sir, we're in hailing range. USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kelly, responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura. Ishimura, do you copy? Come in. This is the USG Kelly.
You ever hear of a full communications blackout on one of these things?
Never. Come on. Someone pick up the damn phone.
What the hell is that?
Sounds like their communication array is busted. Maybe a broken encoder. Daniels and I can handle it in 48 hours, max.
Hey, that gives you plenty of time to catch up with Nicole.
Yeah, I hope so.
Jen, Johnson, take us in.
Gravity tethers engaged. Automated docking. Let's go.
I'm losing control.
What? We're off course.
Daniel!
Guidance system override isn't responding.
Shit, we're coming in too hot. It's gonna smash us into the hull.
Chen, aim for that emergency stabilizer. There, the blue light. It might slow us down.
Got it. Drop the flash shield. Everyone brace yourself.
Everyone okay?
I'm good. good.
I'll live. Hey, Johnston, alright?
It's my ankle. Might be broken.
Shit. But better than a broken neck. Or worse. Good call on the stabilizer, Isaac.
Gotta always read the manual.
What the fuck's going on with flight control? That guidance system's a death trap.
Better add it to your repair list. Jen, what's our damage?
Comms are down. We lost a port booster. Got a fire in one of the stabilizers and... Singularity core's a mess. Could be worse, but not by much.
Then let's get some help. Johnston, stay with the Kellion. We'll send a medic. Everyone else, with me.
I'll confess, I don't even remember being able to see Isaac in the game. It has been a long, long time. But I am actually quite eager to play this. On the security team. We've made it aboard the Ishimura, but we need to find the flight crew, and Johnson needs a medic. Where the hell is everyone?
Looks like hell. Could have had worse. You go on. I'll get it strapped up.
Sometimes...
Crap, we came down hard.
Not a great start to our repair mission.
Pulse rifles?
Standard procedure, Miss Daniels. We'll register them in the flight lounge.
Hello?
Where is everybody? Half the ship must have heard that landing.
Be proud, Chen. You gotta see her in one piece.
Johnson might disagree.
I might need to wait
You're
for
off
some
in
of the
about 10
dialogue
round.
to finish.
I wouldn't mind something to steady my nerves, especially on CEC's tab.
You see anyone in flight control?
No, nobody.
One thing I do tend to notice, and I think this might be...
At least we didn't take out the silent.
It holds the record for the highest power of Planetcracker, with 34 today and highest dead rate for the fire.
May as well get signed in.
14 trillion kilotons and counting. Whether you'll be joining us aboard the Ishimura or strengthening the extraction workforce on the colony, Captain Mathias and his crew welcome you. Concordance Extraction Corporation, powering humanity.
Isaac, come sync your rig.
Welcome, Isaac Clarke, to the USG Ishimura. Rig synced. Collect kinesis and stasis modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. Location? Error. Employee not found.
I can't reach security.
Same for the chief engineer. What is wrong with their comms?
Presumably they're going to comment on the state of the ship, and then I'll be able to talk a bit about the game.
Someone left in a hurry.
Where's the security detail? Where's anybody?
There's nothing logged. No duty roster, no power to the elevator.
For God's sake. That security console's still working. Isaac, get a damage report. I'm done playing around.
Something on the floor here. Seth?
Isaac, I need that damage report.
Oh God, that smell.
What have you got, Isaac?
Shit. It's not just comms or the guidance system. Half the Ishimura's in the red. Engines, hull, the trams.
Could do that kind of damage to a Planetcracker.
Okay, got us some power. Ventilation's up. Power to the elevator should be...
Hazardous anomaly detected. Quarantine activated.
Another malfunction?
No. The quarantine systems are all fine.
Oh, wait, do you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, man.
Take it easy. Daniels, get those elevators.
There's something in here with us.
Up there! Oh, get up! Ken! No! Daniel, get the doors open! Get out of there! Kendra, the door!
So, I think I might have a chance to actually talk about this. I thought there were little tutorials in terms of what the actions should be, but I might need to, there's something. Little reminder. Here we go. So, one of the things that I sometimes wonder about now, I'm part of a writing group at work, which, helping myself by taking damage like that, but normally I think I can just stomp on them the whole time. But yeah, so one of the things I've noticed about the writing group is they really like to talk about tropes for genres, and I've always kind of felt tropes always kind of had a small negative connotation to them. I don't know, maybe just because it seems a little too close to cliche. Excuse me. But so looking at the start of this, right, one of the things that I find so difficult sometimes is that if you... I just gotta sneeze again. Excuse me. But one of the things that can be a little difficult, especially in the context... Hello, Nearly Logical. I hope you're doing well.
Security request retrieved.
It didn't die. We shot that fucker right between the eyes and it didn't die. Smith had to shoot its fucking arms and legs off. For God's sake, send help!
Second reminder about how I'm supposed to fight these things. But yeah, so I do find Sleepy Monday. Yeah, I didn't get enough sleep last night, so it's doubly sleepy for me.
Isaac. Oh my God, Isaac. You made it.
They're everywhere. Shin, is he,
He's gone. Nothing I can do. What the fuck are these things?
The ones I saw, some of them were wearing Ishimura uniforms.
They're the crew? How the hell can they be the crew? Look at them.
We need to get to the bridge. There's 1,000 people on board. Someone will be there.
We can't. The tram system's wrecked. Everything's locked down because of the quarantine.
And you're both repair techs, so how do we do this?
There's a broken tram car blocking the tunnel. It's gridlocked the system. And the data board's burned out. I can't lift the lockdown or call the tram until we get a spare from the maintenance bay. But it's all on Isaac's side of the quarantine.
I'll handle it. Just make sure there's power to the repair systems.
And Isaac,
Yeah?
I'm sure Nicole's okay. She's a doctor, right? She'll do the smart thing.
Yeah. Yeah, she always does. Find somewhere safe. I'll be back soon.
Broken tram car is blocking the whole system. Fortunately, it made it to tram repair, but I need to get it off the tracks. So, one of the things, when it comes to... And again, this is partly a just a function of the types of discussions I'm having in the writing group. I'll admit, I would prefer to talk less about things like tropes. I just don't find it always the most interesting conversation to have in terms of... you know, the kinds of stories that I like. But I mean, the thing is that a conversation isn't, that's, like, it's not for one participant, right? Oh, I haven't been playing on medium. Okay. Maybe I should have gone hard for this one. So, you know, just because it's not my sort of thing doesn't mean that I'm unhappy that I'm participating in those chats. But the difficulty is that once you start thinking along those lines, it can be a very quick way to unfairly reduce... I should take a look at the... Presumably I need the data board for that, no? I always thought there was something that showed you where to go. Anyways, I don't mind a chance to look around. Viridian, good to see you. I am glad you like Dead Space. It has actually been a lot. I'm realizing how long it has been since I played this. And I was just saying, like, when you play a horror-oriented space game, and you are, you know, part of some, or you're traveling to a place where there was some kind of mining operation, or basically a, you know, some kind of commerce going on, you know, it's very hard not to think of Alien. And clearly that's going to be an influence on a game like this. But the thing is that I would never really want to look at that and say, oh, well, that's a trope. Because sometimes, like, you know, there's just, why not, you know, do that? Like, I think there's sometimes a difference between an homage, sort of consciously saying, like, hey, you know, we liked this movie too, and we're going to give you kind of a game version of that, which I have a lot of... You've never seen Alien? It's a very, very good movie, Viridian. Aliens is also quite good, but it is a very different kind of movie. It's kind of like it's like the Starship Troopers book adapted. Obviously, everybody's talking about Starship Troopers now because of Helldivers, but I feel like if you like Starship Troopers the book, you can.
Isaac, don't bother shooting those fuckers in the head. Doesn't even slow them down.
Okay. The only way is hacking them apart.
Does that even kill them? Or do they just start moving?
I never noticed that they started running. Anyways, yeah. So, to a certain extent, I think there is a tendency, especially in a lot of modern stuff, to sort of wear those influences on their sleeve. And it's like, commerce has been so if you think, here's the thing, right? Here's why I think it's sometimes unfair to reduce these things down to a trope. if you think about hello Pandora Carp, if you think about what motivated sea travel, right? That's usually the closest analogy that people will make in terms of space. It's trade. And if you think of a role-playing game like Traveler, or any number of sort of touchstones that deal with space, you very often find commercial interest. I mean, that just tends to be the way that we motivate a lot of activity, that or war. And I imagine that if you did a war-based story, you would, you'd hear people talking about how that's, intergalactic civil war, whatever, is a trope as well. Hello, Joe. How you doing? So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think, like, generally it's a good way of motivating people being in space and being in that particular place. You have, obviously, you have you have Alien that you're referring to, and I don't think, honestly, I think if more stuff took the lessons from Alien, we'd have a whole lot of better stories. And sometimes just reducing that down to a trope, oh, they're just riffing off of Aliens, probably isn't always the most productive way of thinking about these things. Congratulations on your affiliate status, Joel. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about after the intro was this game has got such a great opening, particularly, like, they set up a trick that they use beautifully over and over and over again in this, right? So, you learn the controls, and how are you going to learn how to move in this? Well, they're going to give you a big, action sequence where you're cut off from your friends and you have to run and get to safety. It's like, oh, okay, I finally hit the elevator. And then seconds later, the door bursts open and the thing's coming to get you again. And the thing that I think is really great about this game is that despite the fact that they use this trick a billion times, it never gets old, it feels like. It is always really fun to have that happen. So I think it does a really, really great job of sort of setting, like, not even just in terms of, setting the themes of the story or something like that. It just does a really good job of letting you know, hey, this is what you're in for. And by the way, I don't even think I shouted out Viridian. I think I did the SO, but I didn't. I don't think I actually spoke to her qualities. It was a lot of fun watching her continue to do Baldur's Gate 3 with Prosciutto Fist. And I happen to know she was... USG Ishimura, Aerospace Engineering Department, Shuttle Repairs Invoice, Mission Day 2, Faulty 4 Gyro, Vessel USG ISH 503, Replace Now Functional. Mission Day 3, Faulty 40 Scope, Vessel USG ISH 501, still in repair. Mission Day 4, Damaged Landing Repulsors, Vessel USG ISH 505, Complete Replacement, now functional. Damaged 4 and left 4 viewports, Vessel USG ISH 504, Replace now functional. Mission Day 5, Damaged booster collar, Vessel USG ISH 505, repaired, now functional. Engineer's note, J. Wright, second engineer, Maintenance Bay. It was a lot of fun to hang out with you. But the other thing that I happen to know, again, I keep saying I don't want to reduce Viridian to of Prosciutto Fist. One of the things that I've been enjoying quite a bit lately, so I don't think I really wasn't paying attention to where I'm supposed to be putting these things. But I happen to know that she's been doing Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to stop by and say hi. It's atmospheric. It helps my graphics processor not get overloaded. Pandora Car. They'll probably be streaming a bit more as well. Oh, excellent. But yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. I am doing the rather amazing feat of making this game seem boring by rambling on over it. There's clearly a lot of love for this game in chat right now. So before I rant about other things, what makes you all like this game so much? I feel like it should take me less than 4, but Olaf, very good to see you. So Viridian loves horror games. I was actually going to do Atlas Trials, but now that now that I know everybody likes Dead Space, I don't mind picking this, doing this a little bit more. Olaf likes this because of a nice story and cool combat, and this one does atmosphere perfectly, very much so. Just here for the rambles while you slowly back up and delete everything on your computer. You like watching horror games? Okay, this is good. I know one thing I used to get from people, I don't know if this is still true or not, but people did used to say that they liked me playing horror games on stream because I tended not to like lose my cool that much. So it was a chance to sort of see all the horrible things going on the screen and still feel relatively safe. And then of course I tend to, you know, troll people by saying, "Oh my god, what is that?" Horror games are your comfort games? You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I know one of the things for me is difficult games. Just like, can anything ruffle? Oh yeah, there's definitely stuff that ruffles my feathers, but generally games, not so much, I don't think. Like, I'm sure I'll get sort of, I try to be honest if something does kind of make me jump, but to M. Smith from J. Wright, Poker Night, keeping this off rigged link in case Benson's listening in. You in for poker tonight, or are you going to let Caitlin keep walking around with all your credits? I'm in, but can you not invite Pavey this time? I know he's still blaming himself for Sorosi's accident and everything, but no one wants to hear about anyone's fucking nightmares, especially the ones where he saw Sorosi up and walking around with half his head missing. Don't give me shit about it. I'm serious. It's messing with me. Last night I had one of those dreams where you wake up, you know. My dad was sitting next to my bed, talking to me. Felt so real, I kept seeing him out of the corner of my eye all day. And trust me, that's one son of a bitch who needs to stay dead. So actually, this is to Olaf's point. Like, one of the things that is kind of neat about this game, like, I have family members who are the type that will tend to join us to survive. Will tend to look at something like this. So like they'll see a movie like Whiplash and they'll say, well, couldn't they make it without all the swearing? Or they'll look at a game like this and, you know, well, couldn't they make a story about something nice, right? There's any number of ways that you can sort of cut this stuff. Let's go for damage for the start. But the funny thing is that I have seen a lot of very, like, overt
Isaac,
story
I can't
games.
stay here much longer. Hearing a lot of movement.
I'm halfway done. Found a data board. Just gotta move the tram.
Okay, Daniels, watch that door.
You know, a lot of games that really sell themselves on the story, generally in the form of, you know, lots of text. You know, we're gonna tell you we're gonna give you the plot now. Here's the plot bits. And I mean, I think most of us kind of know where this story is going, ultimately. You definitely hear someone. There we go. I actually never quite realized that they start running once they get closer. It's a nice little that's actually a great little way to give you a bit of panic when they're on their way. But yeah, like in terms of this, reading about the poker, obviously something's gone really wrong on the ship, but all the little hints in terms of everything, where everything's going, like the logs actually are. All the little hints, are the sorts of things that I can appreciate now, having gone to the end. Although again, the details are kind of lost to me. But yeah, in this case here, like I think, so why make this a horror story, I suppose would be the question. And in the end, like, I think there is something to be said for something that makes you feel something, right? There is the idea of... I'm assuming at some point there's going to be something that comes up behind me. I think we've already looted this too. Oh, no. Sound is great, by the way. Sorry, I might be missing. I think we're out of sync in terms of comments that I made and what you're responding to. I apologize, Pandora Carp. If you can clarify, I'll do my best to answer. But let me just drop the board in.
Data board reinstalled. Error. Damaged tram on track. Contact maintenance immediately.
Oh no, sorry. I think I was just trying to just sort of justify it to, like, so again, generally I have a, I don't know. I think it's just generally a judgmental family, right? So why does the, why does Whiplash have to use foul language? Why does this game have to be so bloody and violent? Don't worry, my wife is a doctor. I think I need a security key for that. I think this is where you learn how to, like, freeze stuff. Yeah. Now, normally this should be telling me how to do this stuff. I wonder if... Can't be accessibility. I think I'm gonna have to settle for the... Or hang on, they might be in the journal now that I think of it.
Reading a door malfunction between you and the maintenance bay. Can you fix it?
No, but I found a stasis module. If I'm faster than... I got it.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just, in general, like, there's the recharge stasis module at recharge stations or by using stasis packs in the inventory. I don't think so. So as you can see, there's another save from like a year ago. When, I'm pretty sure that's when this first came out. that sort of guided me through it, but. We walk around for nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so obviously, for some of the AI stuff I've been talking about, I sort of make these grotesque creations to, provoke a certain reaction, and a large part of that is just because I think a lot of the AI art that I see is very, very samey, very dull. And in fact, one of the things that I found so interesting when I was sort of studying what the capabilities of the various models were, one of the prompts that I put in, it sounds a little silly, but don't piss all over this seat, you fuckface, and wash your freaking hands. But I think one of the things that I tried very early on was I put in a prompt, the most beautiful image ever, or something along those lines. And what kind of interested me was it wasn't a bad looking image at all. It was sort of a landscape, very vibrant colors, kind of this overdone high dynamic range that you tend to see a lot on AI generated clips. Like, the thing is, I do not like the style of AI criticism where people say something that looks good doesn't look good. That just kind of strikes me as sort of grasping at straws.
Vents into engineering. You got a stasis module handy? We need one in tram maintenance stat. The autoloader's fried. I got a damaged tram car on the tracks, and if the whole system's gridlocked, guess who they're calling?
Temple here, sending a stasis module now. What happened to the autoloader?
No idea. A lot of shit's been breaking down. I keep hearing things. Down in the gears where no one could be. You know?
I know.
I don't like being the AI booster. Like, the one thing that kind of bugged me is that after doing the article, at least in the local meetup, it was very well received. So that's kind of turned me into the AI guy for a little bit, which is not necessarily a title that I'm necessarily all that interested in. But the the one thing that really caught me about the let me just
Repair systems online. Loading system reinitialized. Warning. Autoloader malfunction. Please contact a repair technician.
I remember you need to do something with stasis on this, but I forget. Manually attach the claws to initiate repairs.
Right loader claw disengaged.
Yes. Oh, hi.
Right loader claw engaged. Left loader claw engaged. Replacing damaged tram car. Please stand by.
See, really what needs to happen is all the monsters need to come out of this. Or maybe I can write it like the bomb at the end of Doctor Strangelove. Oops. So yeah, 4 is, well, shooting them in the head is pretty much the first thing it told me not to.
Replacement complete.
First thing it told me not to do. So.
You got it. The tram was jamming the whole system.
I'm heading back to tram control. Should be able to call you a ride to the bridge.
Good. Just hurry. I keep hearing noises right under our feet.
I definitely remember there was a button to see the direction for the objective too, but yeah, we already went to the bathroom. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so the AI stuff. So yeah, the thing that really caught my attention though was that it was very hard for me to call it anything but advertising. Like, it reminded me a lot of most of the advertising that I've seen. And I don't even necessarily think that's a bad thing. I actually think that a lot of advertising looks very good. And a lot of the things that people like to say is sort of the end of civilization as we know it. So there's a streamer who I watch who quite likes movies. Oh. I am so dead. I keep trying to conserve ammo when it's the thing that I have ridiculous amounts of. But yeah, so the actually the one thing I do tend to find in terms of horror games, so far as things that get stressful, in some horror games, particularly games like Outlast and stuff like that, I do get very nervous about the first death because I don't know what that looks like. And then as soon as I die, I actually don't feel bad about it at all. But it's like that first one that I get really panicked about. And then, you know, I realize that, you know, my front door doesn't get kicked in, and you know, Chris Walker doesn't come out to murder me, so the rest of it's pretty safe. But yeah, so the streamer, like, one of the people was kind of going on about how a movie was bad because it has cut, and like, I get this is a really common complaint about movies nowadays. I'm not even necessarily going to say that it's an unjustified one, because ideally your cuts are going to be motivated, and there's lots of different ways that you can motivate a cut. But the one thing that I would argue is that this is also probably a reflection of the fact that we are much more visually literate than we were in the past. So, like, if you watch movies from the 60s and 70s, they move very slowly.
Now arriving at flight deck tram control.
See ya, Isaac.
We're on board. Something hit the roof, but it seems operational.
Quarantine lockdown's lifted, so you can get to the hangar. Comms are still down, though, so be ready for anything.
What's the plan?
You and Johnston fix up the Kellyan. We report to the bridge. Standard emergency protocol.
What? Protocol? Hammond, people are dying here.
And I'm not losing anyone else. We stick to procedure. We'll get through this.
We'll see.
Anyways, I think the main point that I kind of wanted to make about this is that you see the origins of that in advertising, because of course advertising needs to convey a story once upon a time in 30 seconds. Now that's basically a luxury. You have advertising now that's really probably trying to get the main message across in 5 seconds. It's not a coincidence that you see a lot of very successful filmmakers getting their start in TV commercials and music videos. In fact, Ridley Scott Associates, RSA, is still a big deal. And I mean, obviously, Ridley Scott is probably better known for his feature films, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a hand in it, and certainly has definitely had a role in bringing up new talent. But I mean, again, like it was a universally hated take. You know, obviously when you write something like that, you'll usually see someone who's like, "Oh, well, that's a take," and I'm like, "Okay, great. I'm so happy for your substantive, contributions to this conversation." Certainly don't think people need to always agree with me, but I'd at least like someone to engage with the, with the proposition. I keep hearing the scary music.
Isaac, we made it to the bridge. There's no survivors. Daniels is trying to get into the command computer.
So yeah, anyways, basically the case I want to make is that I don't like automatically knocking advertising. I think it's probably a really good example of the avant-garde when it comes to a lot of, especially visual arts, as depressing as that might be to say. And so, but on the other hand, it is also fair to say that I don't exactly pause at a billboard and contemplate the nature of beauty, right? Whereas if I go to the art gallery, so there was a Rembrandt exhibit, for instance, and I learned a lot looking at that. There's obviously a very different purpose to a lot of those works. And of course they have the benefit of sort of hindsight and a number of other factors going on for it. Hang on, I have to loot. Zach Hammond from background request. Per your request, here's what we could find on these specialists they've sent for the repair mission. Isaac was born to Paul and Octavia Clark on Earth in the eastern seaboard region of the American Republic. Paul Clark was an award-winning ship architect employed by the Galactic Union Merchant Marine Corps. His records show extended time off-world away from his family. When Isaac was born, Paul was given a temporary reassignment to an Earth-based GUMMC ship production facility. During the 4-year tour, Paul and Octavia raised Isaac together. When the tour was over, Paul was shipped off for an extended off-world tour. Paul's influence on his son may have rubbed off. Records indicate Isaac pursued studies in mechanical and electrical engineering and achieved high honors. According to medical and psychiatric records, Paul Clark's absence had a profound effect on Octavia. She suffered from depression and personal anguish until doctors encouraged her to find fulfillment by working with charitable organizations. It is believed that this is how she ended up coming into contact with the Church of Unitology. At first, her association with the church appeared to alleviate her mental condition. The cancellation of her therapy sessions corresponds with the local parish announcements of her initiation ceremony. There are indications that she sold off much of the family estate to finance full membership in the church and the soul cleanse that they require to enter higher ranks. Isaac appears to have been selected to a prominent engineering school, but we surmise that he was unable to afford the tuition, as records show that he instead attended a lesser-known school with the help of scholarships and financial assistance. After graduating with high honors, Isaac enlisted in the Merchant Marine. He quickly gained a reputation for his resourceful engineering solutions, and after 2 years was promoted to a higher profile position closer to the major shipping lanes. Isaac's career stagnates at this point. This would coincide with psychiatric reports that his mother's mental health was deteriorating, and bank records show payments to a psychiatric facility for treatment. This seems to be where Isaac met a medical officer and neuropsychiatrist called Nicole Brennan, and her name appears on Octavia's physician roster. The two of them ended up cohabitating until Brennan accepted a promotion and left to serve on the USG Ishimura. Paul's return from his extended tour coincided with Octavia's release from the hospital. Whatever his assignment was, Paul's service records remained mysteriously classified by executive order, and unless he confided in Isaac, he took his secrets to the grave. The next records are death notices for both Paul and Octavia. Their bodies were willed to the custody of the Church of Unitology, along with the Clark's entire estate, apparently on Octavia's wishes. Isaac's repeated petitions to have his parents' bodies returned seem to have been ignored, since the church refuses any inquiries related to its members. Their cause of death is unknown. Overall, Isaac's more qualified to handle a job like the Ishimura. I'd talk politics over religion, though. Kendra Daniels couldn't find anything on her in the time he gave me, but Dalton swears by her. Apparently, she's on the mission with his recommendation. If he thinks she has what it takes, who am I to argue? Sorry, I know the points have been really fragmented, but I am trying to...
What have you got on you? Is that blood?
Haley, I need you to listen. The Ishimura's overrun with... the fucking monsters. You didn't hear anything?
What? No, the comms are still out. Isaac...
We need the Killian fixed now. Got a damage report?
Yeah, it's there. Should have been
This ain't the Weird Core. Go!
I wish these things lifted less.
Isaac, what's happening down there?
Johnson's gone. The Killian too. The Singularity Core overloaded.
But I brought a souvenir for you.
Killian was our only way home. We're trapped.
No. I'm not losing two good people for nothing. What about the command computer?
It's a brick. All the primary systems are locked down with the captain's codes.
So we find Captain Matthias, track his rig.
Okay, here. Captain Benjamin Matthias. Location medical. Status deceased?
Even the captain? God.
Isaac, you're closer to medical. You can double back and cut through maintenance. Find the captain's body and get his rig. With his codes, we... What was that?
I was trying to bring a souvenir.
Chen?
Hammond, run!
Let me read the lore. Sponsored article, the USG Ishimura. Disclaimer, this article sponsored by CEC's Print and Publishing Division and may not represent the views of Amazing Universe magazine. Imagine a world where basic resources like fuel, ore, metals, and ice are hard to come by. Imagine if humanity's needs were entirely dependent on the nearly extinct resources of Earth and the dwindling supplies of the colonies. Older readers don't need to imagine such a world. You lived it, less than a century ago. Looking to the stars for additional resources was nothing new, but at the time, the only shockpoint-capable ships were smaller vessels that could barely keep up with demand. Enter the Ishimura. Named after the celebrated astrophysicist and inventor of the shockpoint drive, Hideki Ishimura, the USG Ishimura was the first of the massive Planetcracker ships. Built in 2446, she has enjoyed a long and storied career. The Ishimura was the first vessel of her size to utilize the shockpoint drive for large-scale commercial deep space expeditions. At her inception, the Ishimura was hailed as the savior of the colonies. She was created to mine and process asteroids and even small moons with remarkable efficiency. She is also the first ship capable of the pioneering scan and catch technique for harvesting mineral-rich asteroids. Utilizing huge gravity tethers, the Ishimura could lock onto the asteroids and pull them inside the ship's massive collection bays for quick and efficient smelting. At 62 years old, the Ishimura is still in remarkable shape. Her equipment has been upgraded over the years, and many of her interior spaces have been retrofitted to take advantage of current technological advances. Despite so many long years of service, she remains the pride of the CEC fleet and is still the company's largest Planetcracker. Whenever a vital deep space mining project requires skill, experience, and dedication, the Ishimura is ready to answer the call. It is ships like the Ishimura and the dedication of the men and women who crew her that built the Concordance Extraction Corporation into the trusted, dependable resource provider it is today. Is this the first time they've defined CEC? Fair enough. It's the first time I noticed it. I'm gonna actually, you know what? We'll probably find this in the journal. I'm 99% sure there was a something to direct me where I needed to go. Okay, no luck there. I just have the one quest, right? I have played a little bit of the sequel to this, so that one also has a very attention-getting opening. But I haven't seen it for the finale. We'll skip the store for now. See what goodies I can get. I think the first time I played this, I pretty much just leveled this thing up. Oh, hang on. I think I can get higher levels of suits from the store. Let me just take a quick peek. Yes. All right. Bonus contents available. Check your storage to equip it. Sanctified suit. Lone survivor. The infested. The bloody. Venture. The anodized. All right. Actually, okay, people were asking about things that unsettled me. The thing that actually unsettled me the most about this game was the idea that I walked into the store and was entombed by it to get my upgrade. I'm like, well, what if it does something to me? It's a manufacturing ship. I don't exactly want to trust the machinery. Sorry to say, I don't think you're gonna make it. I should actually probably try that at some point. I don't see how I could make this work. F to use Jesus. But yeah, I should probably install the base Dead Space and compare it to this, because this looks absolutely great. So how about I put it to you this way? If I had to change the schedule a bit, and I had new time for a game, and I'm actually looking to reduce my list of games rather than expand. Can I guess that there would be a bit more happiness over Dead Space than Outlast Trials?
They all came back.
New weapon has been added to the inventory. To use that, to use it, add it to the weapon wheel. I definitely would not be able to do that today, Ellen Ripley, but I imagine this has got to be one you're fond of, given your space lady fondness. Actually, if you can just give me a second here. So yes. Okay, so I always wondered about this. There was so I take Isaac Clarke as, you know, Isaac Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke. But Pohl, I was always wondering, and there was an author, Paul William Anderson, is the one who the spelling of Pohl was always a pretty unique one. I don't think I've ever actually read anything by them though. I can't remember it offhand though. And I'm trying to think who the sci-fi author. I guess it would be Octavia Butler, maybe. Anyway, that's my effort to try and show my nerd cred in terms of the names. I suppose it is worth noting that they are authors as opposed to you know, like Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien, or Scott Cameron. It's more of the same.
Have you heard from Daniels? We were attacked. She ran the other way.
Level 2 security clearance required.
Medical's a slaughterhouse. They barricaded access to the morgue.
The morgue?
Yeah, but the barricade was put together in a hurry. A hydrazine tank might blow it open. Just need a detonator, like maybe a shock pad. Nicole could be through there if...
Isaac. The one who attacked us. I swear to God it was Chen. But... I saw him die. If they barricaded the morgue, maybe it was to keep something in.
I wonder if the map will tell me. Nope, I seem to have been going the right way. Grab loose objects. Yeah, I couldn't have gotten here without knowing that. Oh, I think I get it. They're trying to get me to do.
Hazardous anomaly detected. Quarantine activated.
Yeah. Oh, that's just unsportsmanlike. There was an achievement, raise the stakes. Wolf, how you doing? Did you get to see the images? For those of you not familiar, Wolf Arok is also a streamer. Sorry, I'm too busy killing the monsters. Plays a lot of old people games, so I'm guessing that Dead Space is going to be one of them. But anyways, Retro Streamer found him through the Outworld stream, and I'm sure a lot of you know that I've been Outworld, somebody who I've known on Twitch for a long time. Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. It's not a loyalty test, but the first one is amusing, but it's the series that goes interesting places. In any case, I am in the thick of it, so I'm going to rely on you to click his name and give him a follow if you are so inclined. I saw a third one, but one moment, please. You get grumpy at them until completion. No, for those of you actually who've ever wanted to see, was it Mary-Kate and Ashley's My Super Sweet 16 played to completion? The Wolf Arok is your man. He also keeps threatening to play this like BMX 30 game by Acclaim, but he's never actually done it, so... Roman numeral 30, of course. You beat the old Dead Space game a long time ago when you were actually a young fornicator, so no, you will not be playing again. You also play Dora games. But see, here's the thing, right? Everything old is new again, so you may have beaten the original Dead Space, but I don't think you have beaten the Dead Space remake. Oh, I don't have any notes. Biological Prosthetics Center. Does this count as a Metroidvania with the security cards? Clerical error? Zoe, specimen 426 is ready for harvest. I was about to notify Alvarez to prep for medical leave, but when I checked the database, I saw Ensign Sable had been moved ahead of her. Is that right? Alvarez has been on the waiting list for 3 months now. I thought arm transplants took priority over a cornea. Here's your clerical error. One of them brought CEC stock at the last purchase. One didn't. Guess which one was suddenly bumped up to vital personnel? It's not worth the headache to push back on it. Trust me, and before you think about filing an ethics complaint, just remember the wise word of Hippocrates. Shit rolls downhill. Zoe. I'm not sure what the best strategy for those things are, but I noticed they don't have a lot of appendages, so I figure a hail of bullets is my second best. But yeah, so the thing I was trying to talk about a little bit before in terms of the horror elements, I think one of the things that's kind of neat about this is if you think about the context of this game, in which this game is coming out, I don't really know if there were a lot of games that I could point to that have something comparable to sort of the dismemberment. I guess you've got a game kind of like
Daniels isn't answering her rig link. What's your status? Did you find Nicole?
No sign of her yet. But I found a shock pad I could use on the barricade. Just need a hydrazine tank.
Hurry, Isaac. I don't like what I'm hearing out there.
no follow-up missions? Yes, I mean, the closest I can kind of think of would be, I guess, something like Resident Evil, where maybe you don't have sort of the dismemberment system, but you have you know, if you have this degree of difficulty in terms of shooting the enemies, and essentially you're not a super soldier. Oops. I really should heal. Yeah, basically you need to conserve resources. You need to be thoughtful in terms of how you go through the levels and such. And I've actually never played a Resident Evil game. I realize that is a big oversight on my part, but that's kind of the closest. And again, I don't know that much. Wolf will probably let me know in all capital letters if I'm getting the timeline wrong with that. But that's kind of the only real precedent I could find for something like this. Schematics submitted. Item is now available for purchase. Stasis pack. And we still can't afford the suit. That's why my career is stagnant. So there's something kind of neat in this where you know, like the technology's better, so you don't have these fixed perspectives. I can do that, I just don't want to. How you doing, Vesper? Good to see you. Folks, for those of you... Sorry, this is turning into Shoutout Central, but I am always happy to shout out people that I spend my time watching. We have got none other than Vesper Fortune inside here today. Much like Wolf, I apologize for not hitting the shoutout button, but it's not quite as... not quite as hectic right now, but I am trying to make a little bit of progress in the game here. But I've been watching, I've actually saw, Vesper I think was the first person I watched play a Persona game. Who did that? Oh, Ellen, thank you very much for gifting that sub to Wolf Arock. And Wolf, if you don't use those emotes, I'm telling. Isn't that always what happens? I didn't even realize that was on...
Level 2 security clearance required.
Sorry, was that your stuff? Anyways, Vesper is somebody who I am... By the way, I can't believe you have given 14 subs in this channel, Ellen Ripley. Thank you very much for doing so. That is obviously never expected, but it is tremendously appreciated. Oh, I don't have anything else. Alright. Let's max out this thing. I mean, there's a couple things I can see being useful here. But I imagine being able to chop up the bad guys is a little more useful. But yeah, so I guess the thing that I'm thinking of is like when you play a game like this, so you have the shift in perspective, which I think is kind of neat. So you don't have these fixed areas that you're going through, and there isn't that awkwardness of sort of pointing your weapon. But this idea that, unlike any other enemy that I can think of in a game, actually I'm going to see what the middle one does. nothing useful. No, I'm not going crazy. But I do feel I'm going the wrong way. Oh, maybe not. But anyways, I do think there's something kind of interesting about this idea where I would imagine at the time that this came out, there would probably be more shooters, there would probably be more action going on. And this idea that when you go up against the enemies, you know, you can't use...
Log retrieved.
I hear the tests on patient Harris were inconclusive. Given the reports from the colony, he's lucky to have his faculties at all.
Well, a divine experience would leave an impression on anyone's mind.
Perhaps. But I saw nothing divine in all that blood. The suicides.
This is a revelation, Terrence. We just need more insight to translate it.
You think this insight can be found in Mr. Harris's psyche?
I'm positive. And with Captain Matthias barring any visits to Aegis 7, this fellow may be our best chance.
Harris is Dr. Brennan's patient. And your methods... Look, Mercer, things are complicated enough already. I can't sign off on this.
You'll do what's best, of course, but how long can we afford to wait?
Hello, Takri. Very good to see you. But yes, anyway, sorry, let me try and catch up with a few things. So first of all, Vesper Fortune, somebody who I've had a lot of fun watching, is very nice whenever he describes me, but of course has his own channel and his own talents. For those of you that didn't get a chance to see before, Wolf Arok. And even before that, we've got Viridian. And I do apologize. I feel this is a really great game, and I haven't been giving commentary worthy of it. But I'll do my best to try and. But yeah, anyways, I do think I definitely have a pretty distinct memory the first time I played this, and the idea of one of the enemies kind of chasing me down and, you know, firing multiple times and just realizing, you know, the gun's not necessarily working the way it does in other games, and the kind of panic that you feel as a result of that. I thought was really effective. But I think I was maybe a little surprised when people were talking about the quality of the story, not because I don't think it's a good story, but it's not the one that I normally hear people talk about most of the time. Alright, there's something to my right, I think. At least it sounded like it. Yeah, I don't know, like after that initial shock of like, oh no, I don't have the same stuff I can rely on. It's still a very engaging experience. How are you doing tonight, Kree? It's always good to see you. Excellent. You use those emotes in chat. There'll be a quiz. If I don't see you use those emotes a fixed number of times, Wolf, I'm telling Ellen Ripley.
Exiting vacuum.
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry to hear about the cancel, though. Alright, zero gravity thrusters use boot and suit thrusters to navigate in zero gravity. Oh, I remember this bit. This was cool. I can't remember if I can break something in midair, though. Naturally, Vesper.
Exiting zero gravity.
I will potentially cause some fights in chat with this, but I am slightly curious. I am very happy to hear people's opinions about Dead Space, of course, but...
Still holding this position. What's happening there?
I found some hydrazine that should work on the barricade. I'm heading back there now.
Be careful with that hydrazine. I'm not losing anyone else.
So obviously it's tempting me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and, unless there is a deep insight into Dead Space to come up, of the people who have seen these movies, is there a preference for Alien or Aliens? And if there is a preference, why do you have that preference? I should probably be using my main weapon. Sneaky. I might as well pick up some goodies while I'm here. If anyone says the third one, you are dead to me, by the way. I feel like there should be another item in here, but I could be completely wrong. You love both, but you like the first one the most. Literally everyone in your life disagrees, though. That's interesting. So did you ever play... I have not played the Creative Assembly Alien game, Alien Isolation. Which I know is basically a love letter to the original film. Wolf says he grew up on Aliens sooner first. I did actually watch Aliens first. And I am a big James Cameron fan, but I'm also a big Ridley Scott fan. Aliens slightly edges out for you purely for nostalgia. Despite loving horror, you have never watched the films. Alien is fantastic. You agree with Chalk. I used to be an Alien 3. I've never liked Alien 3. So I will say, Vesper, so there are a number of films. One of the biggest drawbacks about being a fan of just about anything nowadays.
What the hell? It shut the whole ship. I'll check it out.
Is you always kind of have to deal with. Oh, I forgot. This was always such a fun bit where you're like, oh no, what do I do? All right. Okay. I'm going to take the time to replenish my oxygen because I definitely lost a few seconds of that. Calling for a ban? But yeah, so like the one drawback is that there's so many good shows now. I don't actually mind Prometheus. I think I even saw Prometheus in theaters, and I definitely remember a couple of moments that I thought were really solid. Oh, they gave me a little something for me not figuring out the way to get back upstairs. Figure I might take a quick peek. But yeah, like this whole idea that, you know, you finally meet your creator and the creator's like, these things are still around. That is an incredibly bleak and wonderful moment. Oh, this was a good this is a good trick. Hold still. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen Covenant. I'd kind of like to, but oh, okay. So apparently I shouldn't see Covenant. Oh my god, that sounds remarkably tedious, Ellen Ripley. But yeah, I don't know. I will confess I have not seen Prometheus since the first time I saw it, but I would like to watch it again because people really seem to dislike that movie.
Took one step out of the captain's nest and Chen, that thing, he almost got me.
You okay?
I trapped him in a damaged escape pod. He's snarling like, this is fucked up. Hurry, Isaac.
But yeah, it's one that I kind of like to, form an opinion on for myself. But yeah, for Vesper, the thing I was going to say before. So yeah, like we're obviously spoiled for choice in terms of, I can't remember if that's fatal or not. Nope. Just something that's making me scared. They're gonna make me cut it. But yeah, so like basically everybody, I think everybody's experienced this, where like if you wanted to watch something, I can't remember if I've been down here or not, so we're gonna take a quick peek just to see if I can pick anything up. Oh yes, it was the guy who was practicing his drumming. But yeah, so like, you know, people have a favorite. So it used to be Breaking Bad, then it was like Game of Thrones, and then I mean, I guess the fragmentation of some of the different streaming services has sort of put this back a little bit. But I just tend to find, like, people will talk about literally anything as, oh, you haven't seen X? Oh my god, you haven't lived! And it can actually be really hard to sort of figure out what... You're very 7th seat, fair enough. Like I said, by the way, this is the most terrifying idea in the game. But yeah, so, you know, like, even if you have a free all-access pass to everything, as I think Vesper is implying, the fact of the matter is that, like, you just don't have the time to see everything. And so it can be very difficult to make a reasonable judgment in terms of. Is enough cover? Oh, yeah. Really, any shows you ever watch are alongside your dad. Okay, everyone. So I think we need to come up with some of the most awkward sex scenes in a in a movie to make Wolf watch. So I'm nominating Crash, the David Cronenberg movie, first. That's a good one to watch with your dad. Hannibal, okay, Hannibal we can accept. What are some other ones that I'm thinking of? Mulholland Drive. Ooh, Mulholland Drive is a good one for a few different reasons. I wasn't aware this was a thing. Oh, I didn't realize there was a Hannibal TV series. But yeah, anyways. But the big difficulty that I have here, Vesper, is that like it's an environment which is very difficult because there's a bunch of new stuff that people are going to prioritize. And when people are very insistent about stuff now, it's actually really easy to sort of tune out. I should check it out.
Remember, when you reach the morgue, find Captain Matthias' body. Get his rig codes, and the computer's all ours.
But I can definitely tell you that the Alien movies, both Alien and Aliens, are absolutely movies
Security
that.
clearance required.
Well, that answers that in terms of leveling up the suit, I suppose. Those are absolutely movies that still hold up. Yeah, no worries, Wolf. I will confess, I feel just completely drained because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So I feel like I'm taking a very good game and making it very dull. But thank you for hanging out. Okay, I actually haven't really seen any anime. I've seen Ghost in the Shell. I saw one called Metropolis, and I've seen Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. I think I might have seen Akira once too, but I wouldn't pass a quiz. Medical log. Dr. B. Warwick, Chief Psych Officer, report of psychiatric observation for patient B. Harris, employee PM19026EH. Harris is asleep after another dose of sedative. He seems literally unable to sleep without chemical aid. Most people succumb to exhaustion after more than 50 hours of waking, regardless of circumstances. Not Harris. His bizarre explanation of events on the colony points to the same paranoia we've seen elsewhere planetside. His guilt is not in doubt. 2 security officers were present when he took Dr. Ciccarello hostage and murdered Nurse Evans. Harris doesn't deny his actions, but he shows no remorse. In fact, he insists there was no crime, specifically that Evans wasn't a nurse when he killed her. This is classic sociopathic behavior, but Harris exhibits no other symptoms. He is affable and friendly, able to empathize and offer original opinions. When questioned about Evans' murder, however, he becomes withdrawn and uncommunicative. He claims the explanation is stuck in his mind, and that talking about it mixes up its message. He also undergoes intermittent hallucinatory periods, again similar to those experienced by other colonists. During his long waking periods, Harris exhibits writing behavior on any available surface, claiming the dreams need to speak, and that he's attempting to make it whole again. What that means, I haven't determined yet. Given the complexities of his case, I plan to reach out to my colleagues for more insight. I am always happy to see some recommendations, Vesper. On the note of, I realize I'm jumping all over the place in terms of topics, but on the note of Hannibal, I don't know how many of you have seen, so, there's The Silence of the Lambs, there's Dream of the Battery, ensure no power is being used in the circuit breaker. Fair enough, I'm not quite ready for that yet.
Loop and transmit all personnel. This is Senior Medical Officer Nicole Brennan. Medical is overwhelmed. We need help. Look at his wounds. We can't handle so many trauma cases, and the command crew won't tell us what's happening. Seizing. Shit. Maybe I have some PHP left.
Okay, definitely following Nicole's hologram. Nicole, she's everything to me, and she's lost somewhere on board. I have to find her and get us both out of this hell. I found a recording of Nicole in the emergency room. It shows her running off, but there's nothing in that direction except a wall. Either the recording's broken, or something else is going on here. Not quite what I meant to do, but...
Medical log, Dr. Nicole Brennan. So much for being paranoid. I repurposed this room to run counseling sessions without unitologists interfering. Now it's the only place I feel safe. I recovered a limb after yesterday's attack. Genetically, it's human tissue with bizarre mutations. But it's just a sample. It's not enough to figure out a cure. I need... Wait, where's that report from engineering? Here. The engineers pulled something out of machinery. Limbs missing, torso intact. Okay. Time for a real autopsy.
So I'm trying to find one quick detail here. I imagine that probably there's a heavy Scientology element to this, but I also wonder how much of the cult in this was inspired by the Unification Church in Japan. It's maybe something, I don't know if anybody knows offhand, but it's going to be a bit of a homework assignment for me, I think. There we go. Well, nuts. Definitely more in here somewhere. Okay, sorry. I gotta get back on track. Maybe I should just... It's... Opening conversations today is kind of like trying to open parentheses and programming and then forgetting to close them. Let me take a quick peek for any goodies I can pick up. I think I'm probably gonna have to use the...
Level 2 security clearance required. Security clearance required.
Am I just not allowed to? There we go. The cult with a mag? Maybe, I don't know. But I will follow up with you on that. Okay, I think I've already said Alien and Aliens are very good. For those of you who are Alien fans, and I know I've talked about this with Ellen Ripley before, on the Criterion channel, I don't think it's on there anymore, but there's a rather good John Carpenter movie called Dark Star. Now, the thing to remember about this is it's basically a student film. The, you know, like, the visuals are not... They're not going to blow your mind. But it definitely has a certain kind of charm. Hey, there we go. But yeah, it's it actually has Dan O'Bannon, who wrote the original Alien, in as an actor in it. And first of all, it's got a great ending, which counts for a lot in my opinion.
Security request retrieved.
You left me. I woke in the dark with them scratching in the walls. Scratching like rats. And you all locked me in with them. Fuckers. I'll cut them out. I'll cut them out. I'll cut them out.
But in addition to being a fun little curiosity in that regard, it there's a sequence with basically a beach ball with legs. Oh dear. I know there's some proximity mine, but I have no idea how to do this thing. But yeah, anyways, that sequence, while it probably does not strike you as the sort of thing to...
It's Terrence Kine. You were in surgery, so I left this with Warwick. He'll be discreet. I just got the latest report from Aegis 7. The situation's worse than Captain Matthias will admit. 40% of the colony's population is now showing symptoms. Depression, hallucinations, more violence. People are dying down there. I know it's linked to the marker somehow, but I just don't have enough data. Or, sir, maybe I was wrong. We need answers by any means possible. That patient, Brent Harris, might be our last hope.
Why can't they make games about nice things? Okay. What else was I going to say? So we've got our movie recommendations. So Vesper, unless you just really cannot stand science fiction, highly recommend watching Alien and Aliens. If you are really devoted to the series, I feel like you could stand the third and fourth films. They're by very talented people, but I really do not feel that they live up to the promise of the original two. And in fact, I feel like they undermine a lot of the things that, in particular, the third one, I feel, takes everything that the second film was doing and then kills it in the opening seconds. And I feel like Aliens had more respect for the preceding film. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Hannibal. Okay. So for those of you that want to see a very interesting take on there's actually a couple of ways that you can see this scene. So there is a movie called Manhunter, which had the first, so far as I can tell, the first appearance of Hannibal Lecter. It was based off of Red Dragon, but I think there was some dispute over I think there was some question about whether or not, I think it was Dino De Laurentiis who was working on that, but I think there was basically some question in terms of whether or not he had the rights, which is also why the killer's name is Lektor. But he has a pretty small role, as anybody who's seen Red Dragon will know. But he is played by Brian Cox, who probably I think most people will be most familiar with him now because of his role as Logan Roy in Succession, but obviously has had a long and pretty good acting career prior to that role. But it is really interesting. I find his Hannibal a lot more interesting and just a little more unnerving than Hopkins. Like, Hopkins obviously is the one that everybody thinks of when it comes to Hannibal, and I think he does a good job. But he really hams it up, and well, hams it up might be the wrong term, but like he goes all in. And if you see, so eventually Red Dragon was given another adaptation. A more modern one starring Edward Norton. And the exact same scene in Manhunter is played by Anthony Hopkins. And I actually think Brian Cox does a better job of it. I think it is a much more interesting exchange with the detective. But I think the one that Vesper's talking about is the one with Mads Mikkelsen. I have not yet seen it, but obviously a very compelling character. One that I imagine I'm sure I'll like it. But yeah, if for those of you that want an interesting comparison, like I don't mean to make this sort of an anti-Anthony Hopkins sort of a thing. I think two actors can play the same role in two very different and interesting ways, but given how well received Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter is, I do sort of feel that Brian Cox deserves a little more credit for his Hannibal in Manhunter, just because I really, really like the scene that he's in. Again, it's a very small one, but there is a particular delivery that he has. I remember there's one line where he says, "Dream much?" And it's kind of like he fires a gun at the detective the way he delivers it. It is a very it's a very good little sequence, and it's purely, I mean, it's two people talking in a enclosed room. I would actually argue that the modern film has a bit more set dressing to try and make it more interesting. But anyways, I'll leave it. That's available on YouTube, I'm sure, if you find Hannibal Lecter Manhunter, and then look up for when you see that scene and you look up for the same one in Red Dragon, you'll know what I'm talking about. Medical log. Dr. G. Domus, medical examiner, report of death on ship. It's my unfortunate duty to officially pronounce Captain Benjamin Mathias dead. Reports of the exact circumstances surrounding his death are conflicted and will be left for investigators to determine once we return to port. I will constrain my comments to the condition of the body. Subject was in generally good health for his age, though cursory blood test indicates his leukocyte count was very low, with eosinophils in particular and almost non-existent. Almost non-existent. Sorry, I'm not good with medical terms. His pre-fight physical exam showed no such problems, indicating rapid onset, but it does not appear to have had any effect on his death. Multiple contusions on the arms and hands indicate a brief struggle pre-mortem. Light contusions around the rib cage indicate he was restrained, likely for a brief period. Cause of death was a single prolonged trauma to the ocular body, which continued on through the cavity wall and into the frontal lobe, causing rapid neurotrauma, seizure, and death. The angle of penetration into the ocular cavity indicates the injury was not self-inflicted. Examination required the removal of the object to confirm the cause of death, but has been preserved for the investigative team to study. I therefore have no alternative but to record a preliminary verdict of unnatural death. Whether deliberate or accidental is beyond my jurisdiction. Actually, speaking of roles that Mads Mikkelsen has stepped into, does anybody know that he has actually played a role that I believe was played by Peter Sellers first? Of course. Oh, for heaven's sake. Out of bullets again. What was the first movie Lady Gaga was an actress in? I feel she was in a Ridley Scott movie, the fashion one. One I haven't seen. But I don't think that was her first role.
Isaac, what's your status? Do you have the captain's rig?
Fuck me! Ugh. Transmitting codes now. I saw it, Hammond. A flying one turned the captain's body into another one of those things. The same must have happened to Chen.
God. Maybe the command computer has something. Where's Daniels when you need her? Head back to the security checkpoint. It's safer there. At least I can upgrade your clearance.
I don't actually remember having this kind of I don't remember having this much trouble with ammo, but yeah, I actually wouldn't know. That's no, he Mads Mikkelsen played Le Chiffre in Casino Royale. But that was not the first time Casino Royale was adapted. There was, I believe, I don't know if it counts as a parody or a comedy or...
Isaac.
I'm here. What the hell's happening?
The computer says the Ishimura's engines are offline. We're on a decaying orbit toward Aegis 7.
Oh god. I have to get to engineering.
There's no time. That tram station's offline. Unless Here, head back to the flight deck. I'll guide you from there. If this damage report's right, there's a shortcut to engineering.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Clearance confirmed.
not familiar enough with her works to comment, but I also know I can rely on
Security
you.
clearance required.
Nothing terrible is going to come out of that hole, right? Actually, I guess it already did. Where does it want me to go versus where I want to go? Okay, fine. But I saw my little green shiny. Oh, actually, that would have been a neat one. So, I don't know if the game does this, but wouldn't it be great if they did something like show the little green light somewhere and that be the trigger for I mean, I guess a number of games have done that already, but have that, like, not a full mimic character, but definitely have, like, a light that you put a little bit of effort into getting. I'm actually trying to think if they do that in this or not. Anyways, it's been long enough. We're due for a big scare. Did I just... I'm pretty sure I just did a big circle. Alright, well. So I definitely remember him saying security station. The catch is I also need to pick up all the stuff that I couldn't get under my previous security level.
Level 2 security clearance required.
It's tempting to try and buy more ammo, but I want to try and translate as much of the cash into I want to try and translate as much of the cash into upgrades as I can. Okay, so it wants me to go... Okay, I can sort of see it. Wait, the tram? Really? Huh.
Flight deck tram control.
Lord Gloom, good to see you. I think I'm... Oh, sorry, that kills out the... Okay, that's the last chat. Let me get the others, too. Did it too fast. Yeah, so if I tab out of the game, the everything freezes. But I was watching Lord Gloom returning to the completely uncontroversial and fun game Helldivers, Escape from Tarkov edition. No. Lord Gloom is actually one of the few people I've seen play play Escape from Tarkov, and he was actually the person I found out about the recategorizing or redefinition of DLC from. But in any case, he is quite a fun streamer to watch. I originally found him through Cobalt Core, which will be returning to on Wednesdays after a little bit of Godless. And he's also done quite a bit of... So I think I might have seen you play Digital Magic first, but Lord Gloom has actually been playing a lot of the physical card game with a few other broadcasters. So it's actually kind of funny. Like, there are some people who I'll raid off of a game that they're playing, and often what will happen is I'll never see them play that game again, and they won't necessarily be... Well, something's supposed to be scaring me. Okay, that's good for one. I can hold off from the other for now. It's cute. It doesn't know what it's doing. Yeah, anyways, so, you know, it's fine. I mean, people are gonna do their own thing on Twitch, and I don't have any say in terms of what they do. But what'll often happen is, you know, they'll maybe follow you to try and encourage you to do a follow or something along those lines. This is like the worst gun to use on these things, I feel like. Right now I'm just trying to rebuild my cutters.
Security recording retrieved.
But I thought I was safe here. But anyways, what's been really nice about Lord Gloom is, even though he is much better at Cobalt Core than I am, and I'd actually say this is not intended as a knock or anything like that, but I actually feel like sometimes our taste in games in terms of what we stream doesn't always have a lot of overlap. But I've had a lot of fun having Lord Gloom hang out in the channel. I think it's always kind of nice when you have someone, and I think all of you pretty much just scroll up in chat and you'll see the names who, I think this is kind of a who's who of people who are, it's always enjoyable to have some back and forth with in the channel here. But I've had a lot of fun having Lord Gloom visit on my channel, but it's also a lot of fun to sort of hang out in his. And it's something I've begun to appreciate a little bit more. Maybe it's because I'm doing a little bit more variety in terms of games or things along those lines, but I always kind of appreciate it when I find a new broadcaster through a game that I personally enjoy, who it's always kind of fun when I find somebody new through a game that I really like, but they're a broadcaster who's, you know, really enjoyable to just hang out with in general. And the main reason for that, I tend to find, is that I also look for places to find new games too, right? And sometimes that means that I'll go to something like the local Game Dev Collective, which incidentally, not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday following. Not only do I have to meet my my old...
This damage report says there's a broken cargo lift just beyond the hangar doors. I'll open them now.
Entering zero gravity.
You'll need your thrusters to reach it, but that lift shaft should take you straight down to engineering.
Thrust the shaft, gotcha. Yeah, so I sometimes go to the local game dev meetup to find new things. Sometimes I'll, you know, listen to word of mouth, but I think everybody is kind of trying to find something new and something interesting to play. And so, you know, there'll be people like Elkanu, there'll be people like Lord Gloom. You kind of never know where your next recommendation is going to come from, but as I'm sure you all know, like, I try to do more than just, you know, do a shout out and say, yeah, watch this person, they're the best ever. You know, but try and give some sort of reasoning behind it. And that's something, there's a number of things that I've liked about Lord Gloom's streams lately, but definitely it's been kind of nice to check out some stuff that probably wouldn't have been on my radar. I'm not quite sure if I'm sold on paying for Escape from Tarkov. But I think I kind of got what people, like, having now watched him do that game, I think I have a better understanding of, like, what people get out of it. And actually also why I liked the extraction shooter mode in Battlefield 2040, 2042. Well, thank you, Lord Gloom. I was actually really, like, I feel a little bit better saying this now because you've been able to play Phantom Brigade and you know that it's good, but, like, I always felt a little bad whenever we would talk about Phantom Brigade in your channel, because I know you have a couple of viewers who didn't care for it, and, like, obviously the world does not need more arguments over video games, so, you know, I try and say what I like about it, but, you know, sometimes I'll hear some things said about Phantom Brigade where I'm like, I'm not really sure that's fair, but, like, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, so I also don't want to turn it into, like, a brawl while you're just trying to enjoy a game that, you know, isn't even related to what's being talked about. But there was always that side of me, it's like, oh man, I really hope he gets to try it at some point, because, like, it's it feels like a good fit. And so when you finally, you know, when I got to see you try it and you reported back that you really enjoyed it, that was a particularly happy moment for me. So, and obviously I'm hoping, because I know for some people, like, so the thing is, for me, I've enjoyed that game since early access. So it's sort of easy for me to say, you know, I think it's good. I think it's always been good. But I also acknowledge that games generally will not get better if the only thing that game developers hear are the things that I say, right? That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the game, but it does mean that I'm not necessarily going to be very good at identifying points of improvement if I'm really content with what I have already. And I think one of the reasons why the latest patch is hit so well is it really does feel like a line by line. What have we got here? Sure. I wish I knew what that was for. I was clearly not paying attention. I'm assuming at some point there's got to be something that moves forward, but... Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm getting an idea what this does now. But yeah, so needless to say, the fact that more people are, are getting something out of Phantom Brigade is something that makes me quite happy, because it's a game that I've really enjoyed, and I did feel bad. I know that Brace Yourself Games actually had a bit of trouble in terms of their overall headcount. I mean, they're not immune to the kind of the layoffs inside of the that are happening in the games industry right now. So knowing that they've got something to, that's potentially going to be keeping them afloat while they make their follow-up games, that makes me happy too. Anyways, as you can tell, I'm sleepy, I'm rambly. I have tracks, but I have no discernible purpose for them yet. And have a good lurk, Vesper Fortune. Okay, let's so again, I was being a little sarcastic when I think I wasted a bullet off of that. That was not intentional. I was intending to be a little bit of a troll when I said, does this count as a Metroidvania? But something did kind of occur to me with this whole locking system. So there is something to be said, I think, about taking that convention that worked really well. I mean, obviously, Metroid was inspired by Alien, so I don't think it's completely unfair to draw the connection. But one of the things that I think works really well in the context of horror is if you think about what happens in a Metroidvania, like you will tend to go through locations and they will be familiar, right? You've seen this place before, and part of that experience is sort of discovery. You get to see something new, and that's what that's what makes it not a grind. Like sometimes you'll be playing an old first-person shooter, and you have to get a colored key, and the feeling is, oh great, now I get to walk all over the map again. I'm so glad we're doing this. Whereas the Metroidvania style game, what have we got here? The repetition in terms of the levels is a little bit more about discovery, and you get to keep those feelings as you go through level. At least in a well-designed one. Obviously, repetition can be kind of boring in any given game or stream for that matter. I got it. Who cares how much it costs? I got it! Perfect in every single way, every curve, every line. No ads could do it justice. Grasping hands, everyone wants it. So where? Where's safe to keep it? Not here. Can't be anywhere public. Authorized personnel only. Right in the depths where everything's forgotten. Got to camouflage it with other shipments. Only I can ever know. Oops. Oh, come on. So the point I'm slowly meandering towards is there is something kind of interesting about putting these Metroidvania conventions in a horror game, because familiarity also gives this feeling of safety, but of course we're in a game where monsters can kind of appear out of nowhere, and so going past that familiar hall for the third time is precisely the point where you want to put something horrifying. I'm sure this is something people probably picked up on their first playthrough, but I'm only noticing it. But then I have also only really played one or two Metroidvania style games, so. Alright, I am completely turned around. At some point I'll check the log for the objective, but right now I'm happy to just load up on resources. I imagine the scarcity I was feeling around the boss fight was intended, as was the plenty that I'm feeling in this nice little safety spot. Now I'm gonna make a guess that I can't cross this barrier-looking thing here, but I could be wrong.
Entering vacuum.
Okay, well there's oxygen, so let's orient ourselves there. Also perfect time for an enemy to come after me. I'll pick up some goodies and then I'll replenish my oxygen, because obviously I was wasting some time here. To be thinking about oxygen around this time.
Exiting zero gravity. Exiting vacuum.
We made it!
Clearance confirmed.
Okay, well that's not where I'm supposed to go, but you know me. We are not punished for our sins, but by them. By the way, I think I only made it to chapter 2 when I first played this close to its release, so I definitely don't remember the original game well enough. This is all pretty much brand new to me. Engineering log, C. Danvers, organic growth and engineering. Adding this to my maintenance priority request. Maybe something in writing will make them pay attention. That unidentified growth reported elsewhere on the ship has reached engineering. Not even medical knows what the hell this stuff is. It looks like someone threw their guts up all over the walls and smells about the same. It's spreading faster than we can cut it up, which is pretty disgusting in itself. It's already busted the cargo lift, and it's getting into the engine spoke. If we can't find a way to stop it soon, it'll be all over the main engine chamber by the day after tomorrow. Meantime, I'm heading to the mining deck. They've got PMF 100s in storage for ice mining, and they can maybe spare the fuel. Maybe cauterizing this stuff will do the trick. Just hope it doesn't smell worse when it's on fire.
Warning. Orbital position compromised. Correct course immediately.
Find the autopsy location engine. Oh yes, that's one I want to prioritize. Nicole planned to autopsy one of these things. Her log mentioned the creature was dismembered in engineering. I should check there. I have absolutely no idea where that is.
Engineering log. Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple reporting. Christ, still can't believe the Chief is gone. It's all fallen apart since the captain died. Everyone down here is on their last nerve. We thought the rioting was the worst of it. Till those things came through the vents. Their faces. Fuck, those were my lunch buddies, Liz's friends, old boyfriends. And out of nowhere, the engines are screwed. Primary's laboring, we're hemorrhaging fuel. Fuck if I know why. I'm taking Danvers to the fuel depot to fix it. Gotta keep the team focused or we'll crack. Temple out.
Seeing you in the control room. Any news on the engines?
Yeah, but it makes no sense. They're out of fuel. The centrifuge is offline. We're tethered to a 4 trillion ton payload. Without the engines, it's dragging us down to the planet.
Can you handle it alone?
Sure. Fix the centrifuge, get the fuel running, then do a full restart. But you'll need to stabilize our orbit from there.
Standing by. Fast as you can, Isaac.
Alright, let's see how poor I am. More than I thought. I don't know what it'll cost. I'm assuming that there's higher levels of suit, so I don't know if I want to buy a node quite yet. I don't know. I've got enough space in the inventory and I can clear some up by healing, so I'll resist the urge to spend that now. So that's pointing in the right direction. I probably don't want to mess with an... well, maybe I do actually. No, that's the centrifuge, so... well, if I'm heading down there anyway, I can't get out of this menu. There we go. Oh boy. I don't think that's supposed to happen. I'll confess, I don't 100% understand what it means when it says scan rig to unlock workstation. But it also kind of seems to have automatically resolved that stuff for me whenever I get... okay, fine. Alright, here we go.
Cannot determine clearance level. Master security override required.
Suit level 2 upgrade graph extended. Plasma cutter upgrade graph extended. Special new ability is now accessible. An additional power node has been salvaged. Okay, so let's start by taking a look at the suit. So there... I'll confess, there's actually a number of things that I find tempting here, but I do also find the ability to use my my tools more effectively is also appealing. Greatly increases ammunition capacity. So, yeah, let's go something like this. And then I can fill in the gaps in terms of extra damage when the time comes. Obviously the extra damage is itself a form of ammo conservation, but I'm gonna try and rely on hoarding for the next little while. Lady?
Autopsy report, Dr. Nicole Brennan. Rig identifies the subject was junior engineer David Swenson. The subject was dismembered after falling into machinery, allowing... God. So sorry. Some postmortem spasms. The chest contains a yellow bile seen in other specimens. I've seen this bile react to dead or bioprosthetic cells. The dead tissue is absorbed, recombined, then reanimated. The bile shares genetic markers with human DNA and a growth on the walls. It's all connected to the marker from Aegis 7, but how? Dr. Kine studied the marker. Dr. Kine has vanished. Unless he's with the survivors on the mining deck.
You'll rest easy now, David. I promise.
End log.
Actually, if memory serves, I think I'm supposed to sell the semiconductors. I think they might be taking up quite a bit of space in my inventory. Rare electrical component. Yeah, okay. I will be sure to do that next time, otherwise I'm going to run out of space. I might remember this. I mean, it's probably not going to be a huge surprise to me if I activate a fuel pump or something and all hell breaks loose.
Warning. Fuel reserves depleted. Main engines offline. Refueling sequence activated. Additional fuel required for engine restart.
That was just unkind that they made that one quiet. Well, that sucks. This is going to be a very tough fight, I think. Okay. The main reason I did that was just I wasn't 100% sure if that thing's going to run off and resurrect a whole bunch of other super enemies, so... But obviously I also potentially lost a lot of progress, or could have lost a lot of progress there, so... Now, you know what? How about I just store these things... Oh, never mind. Oh yeah, no, we can store these. So yeah, I might as well move these to storage, because the thing is, like, right now I don't have a big need for them. It's not like there's something that I want to buy that I can't afford, so it's probably better to keep those in reserve. And I think this is where I first got off, so... Alright, what are we looking at here? Down an elevator. So, oh, there we go. I was actually going to say, would it be worse if... Ooh, that was unexpected and unwelcome. Oh, I'm so dead. Yeah, so I was going to say, would it be worse if you move on and then you hear the things, or would it be worse that you're approaching and you see one of those things show up and you know that you can't stop it? And I think we got our answer. Okay, so I could probably stand to fill up my health. I don't think that's too big of a hardship for me, although I should also cash out. This will just save me the effort of doing that again. Presumably there's some way that I could have dodged those and didn't realize, or alternatively it could just be that I'm using the wrong weapon, like I should try to sweep the legs out faster. But we will find out in a bit. One thing that's a shame, I don't know, like, it's nice to play a more story-based game, so I do have a little more, sometimes there's a little more to talk about there, but I feel like I've not really delivered on the promise of talk. The funny thing is there's actually been a few news developments that are probably worth chatting about at some point. I got hit once, I suppose that could be worse. Oh, I'm screwed. Alright. Lost track of what buttons I was supposed to press. This will be a little character building health-wise for a while, but we should be able to make it through. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure I just wasted all my health doing that, but you know what? That's what I get for not being careful.
Last done, Chief. Progress report filed by Jacob Temple. The engine problems aren't a malfunction. Someone shut off the fuel lines to the primary engine and damaged the valves to hell and back. We just wasted an hour fixing them. Now we need to restart the south refueling station, but some jackass turned off the power and locked up the circuit breaker. No engines? We're gonna hit planetfall soon. What now? There's gotta be someone around here how to spare access cargo. Wait, you hear that? Davern, go!
So it's a little risky doing a save here just because I did sort of use up all of my health regeneration. On the other hand, I also know that I get to restart with full health, so... Okay. So presumably I find the card first. Unless I can climb through the window.
Security card required.
Alright, I feel those are welcome because I've sort of kind of emptied out the rifle. Mind you, that was by design because I tend to prefer the cutter, although I have noticed for all the effort...
Isaac. Hammond.
Daniels? You made it.
Thank God. After the bridge, we thought that...
Glad to disappoint. I barricaded myself in the computer core. I can hear them, but I don't think they know I'm here. Isaac, I've tracked down your rig. You're in engineering, right? I'll get myself admin privileges. Maybe I can help.
Login security card. Clearance confirmed.
Lighting or life support? Yeah, so I do feel that I'm using too many hits to try and take these things out still, but...
Refueling sequence activated. Sufficient fuel to fire primary engine.
Okay, I've got a fuel reading. Only a quarter full, but it should be enough.
I still need to get the centrifuge working before we start. Someone really screwed the fuel lines.
Ah,
Move fast,
I was
Isaac.
worried that was going to happen.
Aegis 7's looking damn close out there.
Bring it. right. I don't know if the gondola is actually where I need to go, but because we got the fuel, but there's the centrifuge, and I'm not 100% sure where that was. Okay, if nothing else, I could probably stop by one of those save stations just to lock in the progress. Unless there's like a really obvious place for the centrifuge. It might even be in the same room now that I think of it. Sake. I keep meaning to hit the space bar and instead I hit R. Okay, clearly I have more work to do. Which will be at the elevator, but given that I just saved... given that I just saved and we're kind of at the end of the time, I think I'm going to call it there. How did you all feel about that? Because I certainly had... I don't know how clear it was. Again, I do apologize for the quality of the stream. I don't know, like, between Fridays and then really feeling very sleepy today, I don't know if I've been all that good of a host. But I do appreciate those of you who've stuck around for the whole duration. If I were to do this on a more regular basis, would people be interested in that? Or was this just a nice little side diversion and you'd like me to go back to stuff like Old World or, you know, Civilization or, you know, Phantom Brigade, that sort of stuff? I'm kind of happy. I'm happy to try it either way, but more Dead Space is good. All right. Now, I noticed that Darillion is currently streaming, and he's streaming Satisfactory. Actually has a fair number of people watching him, so it's been a while since I've been able to host Darillion. He was doing, what was it? L.A. Noire the last time that I watched him, but he's quite fun to watch. And actually, I found out he's worked on an indie game which I was had my eye on for a while called The Bloodlines. I think he did some modeling for them. But anyway, somebody I originally found through Industries of Titan, which was that Brace Yourself game that kind of came out around the same time as Phantom Brigade. So reminds me a little bit of Lord Gloom in that sense. But anyways, again, thank you everybody for hanging out. I hope it wasn't too much of a letdown. I'm still trying to find ways to make this a bit better. But I am definitely looking forward to doing some more Dead Space. It seems like there's a little bit of interest in that, so I'll try to find a way to fit it into the overall schedule. As for me, this week I should be doing the usual times. Again, I am struggling to start around 7, but that's just, you know, that's part of work. And then the other drawback is that I do have a somewhat early meeting I'm regularly going to at work now, so it does actually make it quite difficult to manage the time, specifically as far as sleeping goes. But I will try and I'll work that all out. Please enjoy Darillion. I will see some of you on Wednesday for Brace Yourself game, some of you on Friday, assuming I'll still probably do that. And the rest of you, see you in a week. Have a good evening.
Hey, are you